Episode 2 of the race predictions in China, Shanghai, China.
First sprint.
So just a quick update before we head straight into the race predictions. If you weren't aware, we are scoring points throughout the season. Look on the TikTok and Instagram. There is a post all about it that summarizes the points. Currently, leading into the second race of the season is Kieran with, I believe, 3 points.
3 points, yes, that is correct.
I have just one behind with 2 points.
We had a bit of a mare for Australia.
Let's just say we had a shocker in Australia. Hopefully, we're going to do better in China. So we will do, as it is a sprint race, we will do our sprint pole.
Yep.
We will then do our podium for the sprint, so we can get, I think it might be 3 or 5 points for a podium, so that will still count. We'll go as usual as a normal race. We'll do the pole, top 10, and then the gobsmacking prediction at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, without further ado, as you are leading our mini battle 3-2, we will go to your sprint pole.
Sprint pole. So for me, in pole position for the Chinese sprint, I've got Max Verstappen.
Ooh, okay, nice.
I think, I think Max is gonna have a great weekend in Shanghai. I say he takes sprint pole. He's gonna just want to come out to China and
Yeah, okay.
he's gonna want to show that he's still the best. He wants to prove that he is the best on this grid, and he almost proved it last week. Chasing Lando, very, very unfortunate. But what's good to see is he didn't seem too sad about losing in Australia.
No.
So I think we're going to actually get a different side of Max this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually going to play to his advantage.
Yes, okay. So, my sprint pole is Oscar Piastri.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know last race prediction I predicted him to go on pole. Wasn't far off with that one. But no, I think Oscar Piastri is going to bounce back from that unfortunate, bless him, Australian Grand Prix. He was doing so well. He was pushing Lando for the lead, but of course got caught out by that wet patch. And as the McLarens went sliding off, he unfortunately came out worse of the two.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I think Oscar Piastri will bounce back, and I think he will be on sprint pole.
Great. Yeah, fairs.
Moving on to our podium for the sprint.
Yep.
Shall I go for my P3?
You go for your P3?
My P3 is Max Verstappen.
Okay.
I think Max will, as I said, other than McLaren, I think he's the fastest man. Because Verstappen is such a talented driver, he's such a driving force. Yes, he will push that Red Bull as high as he can, but when you're against a rocket ship of a McLaren, well, you never know. They might not be as quick in China. You don't know, because obviously, again, as Kieran pointed out, I'll just repeat briefly, it was a wet race. And
quality was dry, though.
Quality was dry, I suppose, but that's one lap pace.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the sprint, it's obviously still a sprint.
Yeah.
And obviously, I did look at the weather. This may change, but it's going to be sunny and mostly cloudy. So hopefully, we can get a dry sprint and race there.
Yep.
So I think Max Verstappen is a solid podium position in SP3.
Max P3 as well. I think, yes, I've said he's got pole, but he's going to have 2 McLarens behind him.
Yeah.
I think, I've got Max P3. I just don't think he'll be able to hold off the McLarens.
So, my SP2 is Lando Norris. I think it's important that they do work together early on in the season to get as much points for the team as they can, so other teams with upgrades don't catch up to them. So Lando Norris is SP2. He's
there for me as well.
Oh, okay, matching so far.
I think he's gonna have a great drive, but I think there's gonna be one driver that beats him.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be a narrow sprint.
Yeah.
I could honestly see a last lap overtake for the win. I think Lando Lando, I don't think knows sometimes what to do.
Yeah.
When he's getting pressured.
Yeah.
I think he's very comfortable. He's comfortable at the tracks. I think it's when it comes to sort of the last few laps, you always see Lando dropping off a little bit, and I think the pressure gets to him a little bit. And if he wants to be world champion, as he said in Abu Dhabi, that this is going to be his year. He needs to fix that. I don't think he's going to be able to do that in China, and I think he's going to get beaten out by. I think he's going to get beaten out by a certain man.
Okay. Moving on to who we think is going to win the sprint. So, the winner of the Chinese sprint race is Oscar Piastri for me. I think Oscar Piastri will convert that pole into a race win. I genuinely think there's going to be quite a gap to Lando Norris and Max Verstappen.
Oh, do you?
I think it will be quite a clean race from Oscar Piastri. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a Lando Norris versus Verstappen battle for P2. Now I think that's going to give Oscar Piastri a little bit of breathing room. He's going to have a calm race. He's going to have clean laps. And I think, I wouldn't say he's going to walk away with it. I just think he might be a couple of seconds up the road because of the in-battle between Lando and Verstappen. Oscar Piastri is a sprint winner. Again?
The winner of the Chinese sprint.
Yep.
In my eyes.
Oh. Was he cooked?
Is Oscar Piastri.
Oh. Okay, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think he's going to want to prove himself after Australia.
Yeah.
And I think a sprint is the honestly better way to do that.
Yeah.
Than Grand Prix. I think he's gonna win the sprint, and as I said, I think he's gonna beat out his teammate on the last lap. It's gonna be very close.
Yeah,
but he's gonna do it. Yeah.
So we shall move on to the actual race.
Yep.
I will hand back over to you.
Oh.
For your pole position.
My pole position for the race is Oscar Piastri.
Ooh.
I don't think he's going to take sprint pole, but I do think he's going to take the Grand Prix pole.
Okay.
I think he's going to keep that momentum going from the sprint into qualifying and get pole position.
Love that. My pole position is Max Verstappen.
Okay.
So we've sort of switched around there. Okay. I genuinely think that Red Bull, more Verstappen, the sprint. I think he's going to be slightly miss out on the sprint pole.
Right, yeah.
To the McLarens, but I think they're going to find where they're losing time.
Yeah.
And Verstappen, hear me out on this. The McLarens are like 6/10 ahead of everyone else.
Right.
But there's one man that they've forgotten about, and that is a certain Dutchman. Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
He's going to come out the blocks with a mighty pole lap. We've seen him do this before.
True.
He will do it again. And I think Max Verstappen, pole position.
That's cold. That is cold. Fairs. I could see that, to be fair.
Yes.
But my gut feeling was Oscar.
We will move into the top 10, and I shall start the top 10.
Yep. Yeah.
And I predicted him last race to be P10. Alex Albon will be P10. I think he'll have a solid race.
Fair enough.
I don't think the Williams, because I think it's going to be a fairly clean race, hopefully, in China. We'll actually hopefully see the team's real pace.
Yep.
On the slicks, and I think Williams will be quick, but I don't think they will. As I said, I don't think they'll be as lucky as they were in Australia. So P10 is Alexander Albon.
For me, I've gone for his teammate Carlos.
Ooh, okay.
I've gone for Sainz. I think he's gonna have sort of the same problem as Lewis.
Yep.
And especially since he didn't get a full race in the Williams in Australia, I think he's still going to be not struggling, but still trying to become one with the car.
Yeah.
So I see him still racking points just because he is a fantastic driver.
Yeah.
But I don't see him getting much further than 10th.
Yeah.
Just because of the person I've got in 9th.
Okay. Quick fire then. My P9 is Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh!
I have got Yuki Tsunoda. That V-Carb, as I think they're still called V-Carb, RB Racing Bulls, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, who knows? Toro
Red
Rosso.
Bull's sister team. Look actually really decent.
They do.
He showed it in Australia, even without the safety cars. I think he kept behind I would probably argue, quicker Albon and a quicker. Well, I wouldn't say maybe Lewis was quicker, but he kept behind a Ferrari, and he was sort of in no man's land in P6. I want to say, could be wrong on that, P6. So I think it will be a solid race for Yuki, and I think P9's decent for him. So Yuki Tsunoda in P9 for me.
My P9 is Alex Albon.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's going to be a double Williams point.
Yep.
Albon, I think, just tips off Sainz just because he's used to a Williams car.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this Williams seems... it seems like a similar car to the back end of last season's Williams.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Albon is used to it. I think... so, I think that's why he's going to get the edge. He's just going to edge Sainz out.
What the hell? Oh, my God. No.
Pause.
But yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So Williams P10 and P9 for a modern Williams.
Yep.
People at the factory will take that any day.
Oh no, definitely.
Like double Williams points, they'll be celebrating that like a race win.
And for my P8 is Carlos Sainz.
Fair enough.
I've got Carlos Sainz in P8. Fortunately, he didn't make P7 or even
points.
Did well.
He didn't even reach the finish line.
I think Carlos is actually decent at China anyway. In the Ferrari, I think he's a talented driver. He seems very confident. Yes, he might have crashed out, but he seems confident.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do well. And I think it will be a three-way battle for P8 between, obviously, Carlos, Tsunoda, and Albon. I think Sainz will just pip ahead of Tsunoda and Albon to get P8. So Carlos Sainz is the man in P8.
My P8 is Yuki Tsunoda.
Okay, nice.
I think he's not going to do as good as he did in Australia.
Yep.
But I think he's still going to be a solid driver. I think he's getting pretty comfortable with the car. So yeah, I think he's going to get P8.
Yeah. So moving on to my P7, I have got Lewis Hamilton in P7.
Right.
I think. Nothing obviously against Lewis, nor Ferrari for that matter. I think Ferrari will have better pace in China. I think they hopefully will fix their problems, and obviously, as we have mentioned quite a few times, no one could have predicted Australia to be like that.
No, yeah.
So I'm hoping for a dry race in China. I think Lewis Hamilton's going to have a decent job. Yes, he's down in P7, which you might think, is that actually a decent job? But I'd say it is. I think hopefully once he gets to grips with the car, gets grips with the team, and most importantly with his partner and engineer, P7 is Lewis Hamilton. As I said, I think he's going to do a decent job in that slowish Ferrari.
Yeah, my P7 is Lewis Hamilton.
Ooh.
Just for the exact same reasons you've mentioned.
Yep.
Like literally the exact same. So yeah, there's no point sort of reestablishing your points.
Fair enough.
So yeah, my P7 is also Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, we'll jump straight into my P6 then. My P6 is a Mercedes driver, and he had a very good race in Australia.
Oh,
it is George Russell.
Fair enough.
It is George Russell in P6. I thought I got him with the very good race, and I thought he was going to say Kimi Antonelli. No,
both of them had very good races.
Both of them actually had decent race. Actually, no one really covered Russell in that race.
No.
They mentioned it sort of in the cool-down room. They were like, oh wow, George Russell's podium there. Fair.
I don't think anybody predicted George Russell podium in Australia.
I know, fair play to the guy. I think it's going to be slightly tricky for him in Australia. Oscar Piastri's going to be up there.
Yep.
Kimi Antonelli's going to be up there.
Yep.
I'm even going to put I think he'll be battling the Ferraris.
So, yeah. My gut also says that. Russell P6, I think, yeah, as you said, especially the battling the Ferraris. I think, because I don't think George Russell's necessarily comfortable around China. So I think he's not going to do as well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's still a respectable position.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got Russell P6.
Similar wavelengths we're on, aren't we? This predictions.
This race. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to predict this man in P5 though. This man is Charles Leclerc. I don't think you predicted him in P5, and I'm very confident in that. So so I think he will be the better Ferrari driver. Obviously, he has more experience. Showed that in Australia. I think he's going to pretty much gel with the car. Oh dear, hold on. Oh dear, I've just glanced across at Kieran. Do you know what? I'm just going to say Charles Leclerc P5. I'll hand over to Kieran to talk about the rest.
Charles Leclerc P5. I still don't think because Leclerc didn't look comfortable in the Ferrari in Australia either.
It's true. It was quite squirmish.
Yeah, I think unless they do something major to the car, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. Full stop. Period. I still think the Ferrari's going to still be a very insecure car.
Yeah.
But I think now this dry race, I think Leclerc can bring that Ferrari further up the field than what it was in Australia.
Yeah.
Bring home a P5.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
You definitely won't predict my next. You definitely will not have this driver in P4 though.
Okay.
I'm telling you that now.
Okay. So my P4 is Oscar Piastri in P4. I think obviously he will have a good sprint race. I think you still have a good race. My gut feeling says he has a little bit of a mishap in Q3, not like a crash or like poor qualifying. I just think maybe he's on a flying lap in Q3 and maybe a little wobble or a little mistake, but he still crosses the line. He's still quite high up the order. I just think maybe he's, I don't know, I'll randomly say a P5, P6 for qualifying, let's say. And maybe he's caught in the battle for the let me get my words out. First part of the race with the Ferraris and George Russell. Maybe that hinders him a little bit, but he still climbs up. And honestly, for Oscar, a P4 would be great. Anything better than what happened in Australia for him.
Yeah.
So a P4 for Oscar Piastri.
Fair enough. My P4.
Yep.
Lando Norris.
Okay. Woo! Ooh.
The race winner in Australia. I think his race, Lando Norris P4.
Yep. Let him cook.
I think.
Let him cook now.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
I think, especially when the driver have gotten third, this is gonna be outrageous. But I could not care less. This is what my gut is saying. But yeah. Lando Norris P4. I think. I just don't know. I feel like he's obviously for Australia. I think he was one of the cars that honestly the safety car helped.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think there's gonna be. There could be one safety car.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's gonna be two.
Yeah.
So I don't think Lando is gonna get that much help, if you will. He's. I think he's gonna. I don't know. I just feel like he's gonna just be shy of the podium, unfortunately.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting. As I did last race, I have switched two drivers around again because I have a last minute sort of gut feeling. It's not a gut feeling, I'm just really want this driver to do well. But anyway, my P3, first step of the podium, is Lando Norris. So I've got Lando Norris on the podium. Sort of similar to what you were saying before, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail about why I put him there. I just generally think, I think McLaren's will be strong.
Yep.
Part of me thinks Lando Norris is going to have a boatload of confidence coming into China, and I think something may happen. And I think or there might be added pressure from a certain Dutchman, and
Do.
exactly. And I think Lando Norris isn't the greatest driver when it comes to when he's under pressure. I don't think.
Yeah. No, precisely.
Even going back to Singapore 2024 when he was miles ahead, he even almost put it into a wall. So maybe it's little mistakes like that Lando Norris I think will still need to correct, and maybe that has happened again. Why he might be on the first step of the podium.
Yeah.
First step. Yeah, the bottom step of the podium. Sorry. This race, but I think it's going to be a decent weekend for McLaren on a whole. As I said, I think they are by far the quickest team. So yeah, I'll hand over to Kieran for his P3.
My P3.
Yep.
The first
rookie
podium of the season.
Grab your Bortoletto.
Goes to
Fernando Alonso, please. Let me have. Go on.
Kimi Antonelli.
Ooh, okay.
I think he's going to keep that pace from Australia.
Yep.
Personally, he was my driver of the day.
Yep.
As a rookie, in a wet race.
Yep.
Starting P... It wasn't 16, was it? That was...
it was P16.
It was
P16.
Yeah.
P16.
Yeah.
Yep.
P16 to finish just off podium.
Yep.
What a drive.
It was a very good drive. You can't even discount... Get rid of the safety cars.
Yeah.
His pace was really good.
In a car that modern Mercs get absolutely shat on.
That is true. Yeah, you got a very good point there.
What a drive from Kimi Antonelli. And I think he's going to top that, but I think he's going to qualify further up.
Yeah, most certainly.
I think he could... I could argue he qualifies P3 and he just stays there.
Yeah,
or
okay. Yeah,
qualifies around there. I don't think he's going to be front row. I don't think he's going to be... obviously, I haven't predicted him pole. I don't think he's going to be P2. But I could see him 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Yeah.
And I think he's an attacking driver.
Yeah.
But not aggressive.
Yeah.
He likes to attack, but he does very good at preserving the attack and waiting for the perfect time to strike. And so for that reason, especially in a track like China, when it's got some good DRS zones, some good corners where you can come off the line to overtake. I think this track is going to be a great track for Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see the first rookie podium of the season by Kimi Antonelli.
Talking of Kimi Antonelli, he's my P2.
Oh!
I have got Kimi Antonelli in P2.
Oh!
Maybe I'm glazing him too much, but this man is going places. He will have a super good race. He will... Hear me out here. His pace at China... Watch him DNF. His pace at China will match the McLarens.
Yep.
He will be... So, the top 4, as I predicted... They will be sort of similar pace. So there'll be 2 drivers that sort of fight with the McLarens. Kimi Antonelli is one of them. I think he's going to obliterate George Russell. I genuinely think he is. I don't know why. This might just be my brain going, because, I mean, I think I did this at midnight.
Screw the Hadjar glaze. This is the Antonelli glaze.
I'm sorry. I genuinely I did this at midnight, so it probably was a bit cuckoo. But yeah, so Kimi Antonelli P2, that is probably very bold.
Yep.
But I back it. I'm going to back myself, and I'm going to back Kimi Antonelli, and he's just going to have a cracking race. There is nothing much to it. So P2, Kimi Antonelli.
So my P2 is
Jack Doohan.
Oscar Piastri.
Ooh,
I think
Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, he's gonna be the better McLaren.
Yep.
He's gonna be just short of the race win. I think. I think this front of the race is gonna be a lot closer to what I think the front of the sprint is going to be. So yeah, I think Piastri is gonna be just short of making it sort of the double.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Oscar Piastri P2.
Wow. Valid.
Yep.
Go to our P1s now.
Yes.
My P1 is Lance Stroll. I generally think Aston Martin showed a lot of pace in Australia. And I think generally Lance Stroll is going to do so well. He puts everyone in the wall and then puts himself in the wall. But because he actually completed more laps, he gets the win.
Jesus Christ. Who have you actually put? Come on.
Oh, sorry. My P1 is Max Verstappen.
Fairs. Yeah.
Max Verstappen will put that pole onto a top step of the podium. What do you talk about with Max? He's got everything, hasn't he? He's got potential. He's got talent. He's got raw pace. He's got quali pace. He's got the overtaking. He's got defending. He doesn't crack under pressure easily, even in a slower Red Bull. There's not much more to add to why he's P1.
He's good. He's good in the dry, and he's arguably the best wet weather racer on this grid.
Yeah, you could argue he's the best racing driver on the grid. People might disagree with me there. But
absolutely.
Talent-wise, potential-wise, I'd say he is fantastic. And this is coming from, I will say, I'm a Ferrari fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never sort of been a mega Max fan, but when Max starts pole, he's very unlikely to lose it.
As much as you hate Max, you can't deny the raw talent that man has.
Exactly. So P1 for me is Max Verstappen this time round.
I've also gone for Red Bull win.
Yep.
But I've gone for Liam Lawson.
Oh my God.
I haven't.
Liam Lawson.
No. Yeah.
Get in.
Yeah, obviously not. Bro's probably going to be in a wall again. So, yeah, Max Verstappen wins the Chinese Grand Prix. As you said, he's just got everything, doesn't he? He is the example of an all-round racer.
Wow.
So say we take 2018 Lewis, 2024 Max.
Yeah.
Comment below who would win.
Who would win? A spicy battle.
That would be crazy battle.
What I could potentially do is I could put a poll on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube poll.
That would be quite cool.
Yeah.
I shall do that on... I can actually, I think, possibly do that on the Spotify as well. I should look into that, but that's an interesting...
However, there is one driver that I think clears both of these guys. And that is my GOAT, Nikita Mazepin.
Nikita Mazepin is a decent shout for GOAT status. I actually have a better driver.
Oh, is it?
What the fuck is a kilometer? Logan Sargent.
The only man who bins it into a wall more than Lance Stroll.
Anyway, as we are going off topic, we should get back onto topic because it is our Gearbox Gobsmacking prediction
time. Let's go. I went first last time, so you can go first this time.
Quite a boring prediction for me today.
Right.
But I think this is still a sort of a quite bold prediction to make because it is very specific.
Specific?
Specific, yeah.
Pacific's the sea.
Yep.
Ocean.
So, in the race, only 2 drivers will DNF.
Okay.
Only 2.
Only 2.
So
18 finishes.
18 finishes and 2 drivers will DNF. Not much to say from that.
No, yeah.
I just only think that is my bold prediction.
Mine is bold just because of where I put these drivers in the standings.
Yep.
One of the top 5 drivers of 2024.
Yep, okay.
So that's Max, Lando, Charles, Carlos, and
Oscar.
I think there's a British one.
Oscar.
Is it Oscar?
Yeah, so the 2 British drivers of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton were 6th and 8th, I want to say.
Yeah. Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
One of those drivers
will
be out in Q1.
Wow. Bold. I love it. I like it. Yeah. I think that's a much more interesting prediction than I've gone for. I've gone a little bit laid back because I'm a point behind.
Are you gonna name any drivers that you...
Should I name any? Well, there's a lot to sort of, I think you could argue that will DNF. I think one driver that will DNF...
Lawson.
No, I genuinely don't think Lawson will DNF this race. I just think I think he will get knocked out, maybe a lower Q2, and unfortunately not make his way up. I think, I hate to say this, and I apologise, Bortoletto will be a DNFer, and I think it will be Pierre Gasly will DNF as well. But I'm not saying these are the two drivers that will DNF. I'm just saying two drivers
that are potentially.
So you could, I think it's still fair to say, because it's still it's not an easy prediction to sort of say. Yeah. Because who knows who's going to DNF?
Because sometimes with the DNF, it's not all car. Like it's not. It's not all driver. It could be partially car. Yeah. So who knows? But yeah, honestly, it's a pretty solid prediction when you think about it, because that means only that's 10% of the grid. Like that could be anyone's. Like that is obviously, obviously we pretty our top 10, so obviously they won't DNF. Yeah. But that's 10 drivers we haven't named.
That is true.
2 of which could DNF. Yeah. Okay. So
fair predictions all around.
That's a fair prediction. Yep. I think we've been on quite the same wavelength this week. I think it's gonna be a good race. It's a 7 a.m. start for us, so not too early.
No. But it's been a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.